Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District. My name is Sean Webb. I'm the Director of Community Engagement in the Foundation for Desert Sands Unified School District. I am the pleasure of announcing that I want to say, Mary, this is our 25th episode of Classroom Conversations. Pretty exciting. And we do this to engage the Desert Sands community. I want to go ahead and read off the mission statement for the Desert Sands Foundation, who provides this platform for us to provide this for our community. But the mission statement is: Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And we do this in partnership with public and private sectors. Desert Sands Educational Foundation financially supports creative and innovative programs that enrich and enhance in the educational experience in academics, the arts, and extracurricular activities that engage all students and staff in DSUSD. And we do that obviously with partnering with the district, partnering with the schools. And we're going to talk today to our technology facilitators who are going to join us here shortly. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on Chef Mary so we can continue on and find out what's going on with everything in the social media and so forth with Desert Sands. Good morning, Chef Mary. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Webb. And how are things in your world?
You know, things are going well. The grass is starting to grow back here. It's not as dusty out here as much, but so it's nice. Since the dust is kind of get going away a little bit.
Oh, I know. The last time I was down there, I thought it was there was a fire because there was so much cloud cover and debris in the air.
Right.
You couldn't really even breathe. And because we kept looking to see where the fire was, and someone said no, it was. And I'd forgotten about October when they do all the scalping.
Oh yeah. When they do the scalping, it does get a little bit crazy out here. Most definitely. But I'm going to, we've got a full morning. I want to go ahead and get us right to it. We've got some of our topics here today. I'll tell you, Chef Mary, one thing we will be highlighting now until December is our CAM Festival. CAM Fest, Children's Arts and Music Festival that the foundation has every year. And I want to go ahead and show off our website is officially up and launched right now. Pretty exciting. This is our website. So people, if they want to go ahead and find out more information about it, they can go here at officialcamfest.org. And Mary, if you know anybody that wants to become a sponsor, they can just click here and go ahead and see that, as well as direct links to our Facebook page, as well as our Instagram. And we're going ahead to establish our Twitter page too. So we're highlighting that. But it's pretty awesome because each and every day, here's also a thing that you can do is you can sign up for updates. So we'll email you updates about what's going on with CAMFest as it develops. Because as we shared, this is completely different than any other year. If you notice the background photos here of the website, this is all the Indian Wells tennis gardens, and that's what it looks like traditionally.
Oh my God.
We had close to 10,000 people there last year at the event, and we're going all online this year, so it's going to be completely different.
So Sean, what type of how can you be a sponsor?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Become a sponsor. You click that right there. And we have this online fillable form that you fill out. And then you're just going to go ahead and email it to us. You can fill out this form right here. And we have all the different sponsorship levels. And the sponsorship levels, Mary, also include, the ability to have advertisement on Classroom Conversations as well. Okay. As well as we're going to have it as a live event. As you can see, December 6th through the 12th, we're going to have a live stream going on. So they'll be sponsored through that too. They'll have our opportunity for advertisement. So thank you for asking that.
So is that a financial sponsorship or in-kind or a service-oriented?
We're looking for both.
Okay.
Any and all sponsorships are definitely welcome. We with these times and so forth, we could definitely accept any and all types of sponsorships.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and I'll show you our Twitter page for the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. Here, what's going on here. Here we are. We stream this. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but our Classroom Conversations is streamed every time on our Twitter page. It's going on live right now. And one of the cool things, we're working with a media group for CAMFest this year, and this is pretty awesome. So at CAMFest, we've reached out, and we've got this media group that we're working with, and I'm working with another Mary. It's so funny. I've got Chef Mary, I got Mary Perry, now I got Mary G. Mary G is from a media group, marketing group out of Orange County, and she actually does all the marketing for Kaboo, the music fest in Orange County. And she has provided us with a great social media plan and marketing plan. So every day she's supplying us with, we're supplying her with the pictures and the content, and then she supplies us the great text to put up there. So here's today's feed talking about, the trumpet is one of the oldest brass instruments dating back to 1500 BC. So, she just finds those fun facts that would go along with the music and arts. Here's more about our Twitter. Last night, I hosted La Quinta High School with their webinar. You know a lot of those folks over there.
Yes, I do.
Had the counselors. Here, this is a picture of one of our artists singing from last year at CamFest. This was on the main stage that we had outside of the tennis gardens. And I'll admit, I made a little bit of a snafu there. That's not a La Quinta Blackhawk there. That's actually a Palm Desert Aztec. So I'm sorry about mislabeling that there. I know that sometimes the Aztecs and the Blackhawks get a little upset with that kind of stuff.
No, not those two guys.
And I could see an Aztec in the background in the green room. She's kind of raising her eyebrows at me, saying, "Oh yeah, that's true."
I remember those football games.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yesterday, I got the pleasure to meet with Dr. Paisano. I don't think you've ever met her, but she's the principal over at Van Buren. And so get this, Mary, their meal distribution site, they're giving out meals to 400 families each day.
That's incredible. Yeah, I got a chance to I sat in on that for a little while last night.
Yeah.
On your video.
Oh, with the counselors. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And let's show you Desert Sands Twitter. This is the one that Mary Perry's office and Jan Diaz run for us. You can see that Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer, you know her. She's our assistant superintendent in charge of Ed Services. She's talking about digital citizenship, and that's our highlight today. I'm going to bring those wonderful educators on with us here shortly. You can see that we're talking about CamFest. They sent out the information for us as well, talking about sponsorship, just talking about the event is going on.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then we have our meals that are going 7 days a week now. And the beautiful thing is state of California has now allowed for the meals to be free from now until the end of the school year. It was until the end of December, but now it's till the end of the school year.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Yep. And then lastly, before we bring on our technology facilitators, the Goldfish Bowl. This is an opportunity for our students to be innovative. If you have an idea or something creative you're thinking about that you think would be great in your classroom, maybe even to implement during these times where we're doing distance learning or potentially move to hybrid learning, talk to your teacher, shoot them an email and say, hey, I got this idea and I think we could, maybe make some good for our classroom, maybe make some good for, the school as a whole. So tell them about that idea. Maybe you guys can come up with a plan. And the beautiful thing, Mary, all of this is digital this year. And the submission for the application this year, get this, is a video. Less than 3 minutes, they submit a video. And the beautiful thing is they could just do the video with their phones. So we're hoping that we get people to go ahead and sign up for this great opportunity for potentially $3,000.
So who awarded $3,000? Is it coming from the district or from an?
It's coming from the district. It's from funding out of the superintendent's office. Okay. And they have some, so the goldfish are the ones that are applying for the money, and he has some sharks that are going to go ahead and issue out the funds and so forth. And we partner with people in the community. Tim Bradley, he's been one of our sharks before. Bianca Ray's been one of our sharks before. We've had quite a few. We've had quite a few from the community. Okay. But enough about me and you. Let's go ahead and bring on our technology facilitators to talk about digital citizenship. And I know that you're going to have a lot of questions because I'm going to have a lot of questions too. Let me go ahead and bring on our presenters for us. Good morning, ladies. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Excellent. Morning. And I got to move that banner, Sally. I'm sorry, it's over your head there. There we go.
It's totally fine.
Okay, so you know what? I'm excited to have you guys on here to talk about digital citizenship. Chef Mary, I know is going to have some questions. I'm going to have some questions, but I'm going to just kind of turn it over and let you kind of take the show.
All right. Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here and sharing a little bit about digital citizenship with everyone today. So we've prepared a little presentation that we're going to walk you through, and we'll answer any questions that you guys may have along the way. But we are your Desert Sands technology facilitators. There's 4 of us that serve all of our schools, and we're just excited to kind of dive in and share everything with you today. I'm going to start by sharing with how we connect and how to find some resources as well. So we have this wonderful Connect support site, and we do have it linked right here, but I'm going to show you where to find it from our Desert Sands homepage because it has some really great information. So I'm going to go to our Desert Sands homepage right here. I'm going to hover over the department area and then hover over educational services and go all the way down to technology. Once I go onto the technology page, you're going to see, if you scroll down just a little bit, there's this great page called Connect One to World Device Initiative. That's the page that is full of lots of really helpful information that I wanted to go over with all of you today. First off, just kind of starting us off with how to find this page, how to get to these resources. And so I'm going to talk about some of these tools that we see down the side of our screen right here. The first one that I kind of want to go is actually a little bit towards the bottom. It's called Growing Up Digital. And so what this is this is a site that is full of lots of really great, helpful information about our students growing up in this digital world, everything from talking about copyright, giving credit to our email policy, and we also do have a digital citizenship link right there as well. So there's lots of really great, helpful information on this Growing Up Digital site that I would recommend checking out and looking at, and really just using these resources whenever you need to. Yes.
Can I add something? So you talk about copyright. I'll be the first to say I was notorious as a teacher. I used to just take a photo and just put it right in my PowerPoints and then present in class. And I had no clue that you're not supposed to do that, right? So I'm glad that, you guys are here to help out teachers as well with those types of things. Yeah, Mary, you can't just take a picture off of, Google and search and just put it in your PowerPoint and present it to your students because somebody owns those rights.
I see. I understand that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Definitely.
Of course. And I do want to point out also that we do have some links to the websites like Creative Commons that will allow you to use their images for free, and it's free of copyright.
Those are all the ones I use nowadays.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I want to say, Cindy, you probably pointed that out to me way back when.
Probably.
All right. So going back to our Connect site, there is another page that I do want to go over as well, and it's called our Responsible Use Policy. On this page, we have both of these in English and Spanish listed as well, but I just wanted to remind everybody out there that this is the RUP, or the Response Useful Policy, is what is signed at the beginning of every year when students are enrolled, and it really just goes over everything that both parents and students need to know when utilizing technology, and especially now where we're all utilizing it every day with our students, with our teachers. So it's really important to be aware of this policy and everything that it does go over. And it does talk about the safety measures and talking about different access and things like that, and how students are educated in our digital citizenship program as well every year. So it's really a nice comprehensive policy, but I just also like to show everyone where to find it because often it's a good thing to refer back to if something does come up.
Okay.
All right. And then finally on this page, and it's kind of on the home page, talking about MiFi devices. So we do have these available for students with no Wi-Fi at home. And the best way to get this is to contact your school. Every school has their own procedures and policies around getting these out to our students, but we do want to make sure that everybody is aware that these are available for students, and to reach out to your school site if you have any questions, if you need one, or if you do have one and you have any issues, please reach out to your school site. They will definitely be a great source of support for you.
And I'll say, being back in technology, I've been seeing them come in as we have more, just in case, if we need more of them and so forth. And I've seen them come in, the district ones that we have, as well as the T-Mobile ones that have come in through donations and so forth. So I know that, just the line of defense, I get a chain of defense or whatever, right? Chain of command, go to your first immediate person and then to your school site monitors and then go to the district. But yeah, go to your teacher first and let them know. Definitely. Awesome. You guys have some great information here.
Yes. And then another thing that I always like to share as well is that we use a tool called Gaggle inside of our district. It's a company that we have partnered with that monitors all of our student email and Drive accounts. It ensures that the safety of our students by having those monitoring processes in place, so that if there are certain things that come up, the appropriate people within our district are notified, and that our students are nice, safe, and secure along the way with that. So definitely it's an amazing tool. When there is any time that they need to connect with us, they connect with our school administrators, principals, assistant principals, and that's kind of their first place they go to, depending on what they need to connect about. But it really is an amazing tool to help ensure that our students are safe and secure online through their email and their Drive account.
So as a school administrator, Chef Mary, I can tell you, so I used to oversee discipline over at La Quinta, and I would get emails, anything from, if it came from an email that the student is sending from their account, or maybe even through Google Hangouts, or even if it's something in a document that they're talking about, we would get information, and then we would notify, geez, I would be on that email, child welfare and attendance would be on that email, the principal would be on the email, and the student's counselor. So everybody could potentially help that student.
I see.
What a great program there. And just real quick, before we go any further, I want to let you know we do have some live viewers. One of our families said they're loving this information. Nice. And then we've got one of our Desert Sands family watching. Sorry, Sally, that every time I do this, it's covering your face there. But you got Jen Diaz watching us too.
It's okay. Jan can cover me up any day. Totally fine.
Too funny.
So
yeah, I want to add about Gaggle too, Sean, that if there's a perceived danger to a student,
Yep.
The security department and or 911 are notified immediately as well.
Yep.
So really, Gaggle really helps us to keep our students secure, not just from normal children and things they say to each other in email, but also at a higher level
Yep.
as well. If there's any information in their account that could be concerning, then law enforcement and our local security department are informed.
Yeah, I know that Mr. Nakua is on that feed as well when we get those emails, the director of security. Yeah. Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to pass it off to our other project facilitator to kind of move us forward.
Hello. So as we go into building digital citizenship, we're really trying to build the use of online resources in a responsible and effective way. And this program, this is how we do that with our students. So we use this curriculum called Common Sense Media, and this is how we build the knowledge and the skills that our students need to be successful. We have digital citizenship lessons for every student every year, and it builds on itself as the students progress through the program. So it really helps the kids to develop into, being able to figure out on their own what is the appropriate action when they're online. If you have a student, you're wondering what their plan could be at their school site, the school sites all have a plan that they're responsible for developing. So reach out to your school site and they can help you to figure out what your student's doing within this program. Okay, and we have our G Suite, our Google Suite for Education. So we have all of these tools. They're cloud-based and they allow our students to collaborate with a variety of different tools that they have. I'm sure that you guys have seen your students using some of these tools, and they access this by getting to their Waffle within their Chrome browser. So when they're in their Chrome browser, if they're signed in, they see that in the top right corner, there's those 9 dots that look like a waffle. So within the waffle, when they go there and they scroll down, they can see their Google Drive, they can see Google Docs, they have slides, Jamboard has become really popular within distance learning. So they have all these tools that they can use within that G Suite for Education, and it really helps the kids and the teachers to be able to collaborate together to use those resources.
So I heard of all of those before. What is Jamboard? I've never heard of that.
Jamboard is really cool. It's like a whiteboard. They can share it with each other. There are Post-its. We have a lot of teachers that are creating, different groups based on the Post-its that are within there, and the students can all work within those different sections at the same time. They can post PDFs on it as images, and then students can edit right on top of it. It's really collaborative. It's an awesome resource, and it's being used a lot right now with all this distance learning.
I'll definitely check it out. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, I'm going to take it from here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Parent View. You probably have heard of Student View. That's the way that our students are connecting to their teachers through Zoom. It's the way they're checking their grades and what's happening in their classes. And there's also a parent portal called Parent View. So every parent guardian who has legal access to a student in Desert Sands can have their own login. So you don't have to share logins with a spouse or another parent. You have your own separate one. So if you don't know what your Parent View login is, please contact your child's school site. They will be able to get you that login information in case you thought you only had one in your family. You can contact them and find out what your own personal login is. But it's the way for you to stay connected with what's happening in your child's classes from day to day. I happen to have 2 kids in Desert Sands, and so I see both of my kids and all their information when I log into Parent View. I just kind of toggle between my 2 kids so I can see the assignments that they have, the grades that they have going on. And it also has a place for communication where parents can email teachers or teachers can email parents back and forth, kind of a messaging center in there, which is really nice, just in case you're not checking your email all the time. Maybe you have notifications for Parent View turned on.
Now
Go ahead, Sean.
with Parent Views. So I know a lot of people live in extended families in our communities and so forth. So like if Chef Mary were having her granddaughter live with her and she's with her all the time, would Chef Mary have access on Parent View to check on her granddaughter?
As long as the child's parents had given her access and educational rights through the school site, if they grant those rights to her, then yes, she can have her own Parent View login, but it's all based on what the parent or guardian has set up and who they have chosen and notified the school to have access to. So yeah, absolutely. And then, go ahead.
Would you walk us through the process of how that starts? Say that's me. Do they come to the school or call or?
So your son or your daughter, whoever has the legal right over the child, would need to go to the school site and have you changed your access changed to become a considered like a guardianship or access to the child. So if the child is living with you and you need to have that immediate access, then the parent can designate you through the school site to have access and create a Parent View account for you. So that is what the guardian for the child would need to start that process at the school site first. So that if the child's living with you and you need to be able to access that kind of information, then they would need to make that known to the school site first and go through that process.
So would I be required to show some proof as to actually who I am and the relationship to that, so that I'm not maybe?
So Mary, from what I gather there, Mary, the parent has to do it. So
correct, yeah.
Steve would have to go in to the school, notify that you're going to be on Maddie's card, her emergency card, and give you access. So once Steve does that, then you have the access to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Emergency contacts don't by default have access, that we don't give access to anyone other than parents and guardians. And so they would have to go in and have you relabeled as from an emergency contact to a guardian so that you could have that access to view that. But if the child is living with you, that may be something that they want you to do. To have
Sorry
access.
if I threw a snafu in there. I just
No, totally fine. Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? That's the way things are right now. I mean, our kids are going different places. They're, sometimes with their grandparents, and that happens. Absolutely. But this is definitely one of the best ways to stay on top of, what's happening from day to day in the classes. So there is a mobile application for Parent View as well. So I have it downloaded on my phone. It works for Android or iOS devices. You want to make sure that you're updating that app regularly so that it's working. But you can go in and set alerts within those apps. And so I have alerts set inside of my app for when my son scores less than 70% on an assignment. And so if a teacher puts in a grade for him and he gets, less than 70%, I immediately get a notification on my phone or on my watch.
Okay.
And then I walk into the next room and I say, hey, buddy, what's going on? So it's a nice way to immediately stay on top of what's happening with my child's grades, especially because distance learning in the spring is very different than distance learning in the fall. And so, the work requirement and the things that are happening is very different from day to day here. So it's just another way for parents to keep in contact with their child's teachers and what's happening in the classrooms.
So if I'm a non-English speaking guardian or parent, is this program adaptable to me?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that question. Ladies, do you? I don't think that it's in multiple languages.
Okay.
Anybody else know?
I have not tried to change the language settings. I'm sure it does some basic translation based on the language on the phone, but I haven't tested that personally.
But let me get back to you on that because I'll look it up.
Well, when I do the next bit, Sally's got one more piece, and then you can check on that while I'm talking. And
yes.
Ladies, I told you, Chef Mary might throw you a curveball here. Sorry about that.
Totally fine. No big deal. So the last little thing that I want to mention today is about social media safety. So our kids are online, even more than they already were with distance learning. And so it's really important to help keep our kids safe online and to give them guidelines and tools. And so Common Sense Media that Caitlin mentioned previously and Cornell Social Media Lab have partnered together to create what's called Test Drive. It's Social Media Test Drive. It's a web-based educational program that offers modules about key digital citizenship topics, things like protecting your identity online, cyberbullying, analyzing news information. And what they've done is they've created kind of this safe, protected space environment where you can go through these modules and test things out. So I went through one with my son last week on identifying fake news. And it basically gave us like a mock-up of an Instagram feed and had us scroll through and look for news stories and then how to determine whether the news story was real or not, and if we should reshare it or not based on whether it was real. So it's really cool to have several different modules that you can go through, a parent can go through with their child and just try things out and have some good conversations around what are we looking at in social media? What are we resharing? What are we sharing about ourselves? And just, some good conversation topics and things to get started with on social media. If your child has never used social media before, great place to start. Or if they're already, got all of the accounts going on, maybe we should have a little conversation about what we're sharing and how often we're sharing.
That's excellent that you guys have the modules and so forth, the scenarios for them to look at. And just so you know, while you guys were sharing that information, Jan Diaz shared that there is a language selector on the app login screen for parent view.
Thank you, Jan.
Yeah. Gotta love Jan. Thank you.
Jan's always good about testing things for us.
Yes.
Appreciate that. And kind of bouncing off what Sally had said with social media and students, that's my next piece. And so here's just some tips to share out to not make it just the school's responsibility. We have a lot of safety guards in place, as we've mentioned, but it doesn't end there. And I'm going to talk about some things that families can do at home. We want to help kids understand what information should be private, like their address or what school they attend, or if they're sitting at home alone, they shouldn't probably share that out with people. And that they would know, about cyberbullying, both receiving and, being on both sides of that, whether they are the recipients of cyberbullying or if they are the ones initiating, that you're talking to them and having that conversation. The biggest thing, and we say this over and over again, is conversations with your students about technology, about social media, about all the things that come with this world that we're in now more than ever. I mean, I've given this information over and over again through the years, and now it's more relevant than ever. Talking to them about online predators. I just had a conversation with my youngest nephew about the number of people on his Instagram. I said, you don't know that many people. So that means that there are people following you that you don't know who they are.
Exactly.
Because you don't know hundreds of people, and you need to scale that back. And so then we were, unfollowing and doing some things there, and just a conversation, and then encouraging them to report things as well, and just again talking to you, knowing when to go to you about things. And I always, when the children were a lot younger, my oldest nephew is now out of high school, he's 17. But I had their accounts on my phone for the longest time, where I was monitoring them, just because I am in technology. Not that their parents can't handle it, but because Auntie's in technology, she kind of handles it for them, as everybody knows, those poor children. But their accounts were on my phone for especially like as training wheels, making sure that they are, we're having conversations regularly. So let's go ahead and go to the next bit. So there are some apps that are popular for students, and I've got some on this slide and some on the next, and some cautions to be thinking about with each of them, and also to know that there are age limits. So every company has a use policy that says what age that person you can be to have an account, and I think it may be one of the most ignored lines in every use policy agreement. But most of them are over 13. So many are 14, a lot are 18. And you just want to look at each account as you're talking to your children about, should they have an account? What's the age requirement for it? And what are some potential problems with it? They're not all bad. We all use several of these, but we know the pitfalls and we know how to avoid them because our frontal lobes are more developed. So just having those conversations with children about, the one thing we always did is, what do you want and why do you want that app? What are you going to use it for?
Exactly.
What are some things to avoid? And those kinds of conversations, and just knowing what your students are up to, can help avoid so many things. So yeah, communicate, set guidelines, and monitor. I am a big proponent of having your child's passwords. My nephews both know Auntie needs to know the passwords, and it's to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not invading their privacy. They know when I'm going to be looking. I'll sit there in front of them. I'll sit there with them. It's not like I'm sneaking a look at them, but they know it's for their safety. And because we've set that foundation, they don't see it as a violation of their privacy at all. They really know that I'm just trying to help them. So there are several ways that families can monitor children of all ages. One is to check with your phone carrier. I know that Verizon and AT&T both have programs. I'm sure others do as well. There are apps such as OurPact and Bark. And Bark actually has a newsletter that is awesome. So even if you just subscribe to their newsletter, they send out great information on a regular basis, along with Common Sense Media. I use both of them. And I know Sally used OurPact with her son, probably still does. That sets limits and times when they can be online. And so there's a certain time of the day where internet goes down for their devices, and it's family time. And it's just what happens. It just stops.
This is like the modern day conversation I had with my mom when I remember when I was a kid, on watching TV, going outside to play, as well as playing on my first Nintendo, right? So now we have digital ways to monitor our students and so forth. But this is just the new version of that, right?
Right. It's a new version of come home when the street lights come on.
Yep.
It just shuts down their connections, and then they have to talk to mom.
Yep.
Yeah. All the devices in our house go to bed, and we have real conversations face to face. My kids like to yell, "Give us internet! Give us internet!" But I don't give it to them. It's for their own good.
Exactly.
All right, done, Katie. Thank you. So we made this fun graphic for our secondary students, and then we've added another one for everybody as well. That there are some tabs as we're working with distance learning. There's some tabs for students to keep open. Just keep those 3 or 4 tabs open at the top of their screen. One is their email, one is Google Classroom, and then Student View and Clever. And this is where they're going to get to their links for Zoom, their classroom assignment. All those kinds of things are going to be in these 4 tabs. So 3 academic and 1 is other resources. So definitely recommend that kids keep these tabs open as they're going through their day.
So if they have YouTube open, it probably shouldn't be, I'm guessing.
Well, unless it's for an assignment, because some teachers are doing YouTube videos, but those will come out of classroom and it'll open an additional link that way. Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
No, I went through some of the tech trainings at the beginning of the school year, and I learned how Clever is. It was amazing to see that everything is right there.
Yes.
You know, you go back to Clever and everything's there, from Google Classroom to the different apps that elementary schools are using, to the different apps that high schools are using. So it was just fantastic that you guys have been able to make it very, how can I say, easy to use.
We wanted to make it a one-stop shop.
Yep.
So between the Waffle and Clever, anything they need should be in those two places. Yep. And so students should be able to easily get where they need to go in a safe and secure way.
Yeah, definitely. That is, you guys got some great information there. Mary, do you have any questions for them?
Well, you know what I think I have seen and found out, over the years with, young people, they tend to take these conversations with unknown people at face value. They see someone that looks like they're 12 years old and they're sympathetic, and then they have questions, and then pretty soon questions come out and they become inappropriate. But they still look at this other person as a potential classmate or a neighbor down the street, and they're not looking at the problem that's going to incur when those questions keep being asked. Like, gosh, it must be bad to live alone, and how far are you from the store, and do you ride your bike, and they call it fishing. And we went through a whole program on that years and years ago, and it's still out there, and you see it, and you can't emphasize to our students or our children enough to know that you just have to be careful. The person that you're looking at is not maybe the person you think you're talking to. It could be an adult with a child face. One of our kids actually changed his face to a cheerleader, and that conversation went way off the grid because they're so good with technology. I mean, they're far more smarter than we are with technology, I think, sometimes.
Not this group.
We try to stay a little bit ahead of the game, but yeah.
At least 10 minutes ahead, right?
They trust, exactly. They trust people, and I've always talked to my nephews that if you don't know them in real life, they're not going to be on your social media.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense. Yep.
They trust and they want to be kind, and that's
they do.
how you get caught up in those things. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's the nature of all of us. I think a lot of times we are in a conversation with someone that we really don't know. You click on their thing and you go, I don't even know that person. Like, who are they?
Right.
100%.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us about digital citizenship. As things progress throughout the school year, I'm sure that we may have some new added technology things coming our way. So I'll definitely open the invitation for you guys to come back. But thank you very much for taking the time. You guys have a great day. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, gals.
So, Mary, now you know a little bit more about digital citizenship going on here in Desert Sands.
It is. So here's my question about digital citizenship. What does the citizenship mean? Like, when it first came up, I thought we were talking about people becoming citizens.
No, so it's not about becoming citizens. It's how to handle yourself digitally.
Okay.
To have proper citizenship. Okay. To know what to post, how much to post.
Okay.
If you heard them talking about some of the guidelines, even along the lines of, we talked about like the username. I got all over my own niece because her username had her zip code as well as her initials. I was like, please, you're giving way too much information there just in your handle, right? So take something and kind of twist it around a little bit. So there you go. That's your digital citizenship is learn what to share, what not to share, those types of things. Yeah. But no, definitely an exciting morning. They've got a lot of great information.
Exactly.
I'll kind of share that. Like I said, I worked with Cindy when we were teachers together at Palm Desert High School. And when doing so, she was the far advanced technology person. Like she was the first one in the district to use these these things called transponders. You could go ahead and take a test on these transponders, and it went straight to our grading system. Cindy was like the first person to do that, so she's in the perfect role in what she's doing now.
Yeah, and I know this technology is just, I mean, for me, it's way over my head. And you can almost go to a student and they can walk you through almost everything. And the information that they're able to get and keep a hold of and use is just over the top for me. I mean, I'm just amazed how much they know, and they talk to other people who find out other things, and they keep they're like little mice in a maze.
Right.
You know, did you know about this? Did you know about that? And then you click onto this. So I think it's really good what these teachers and administrators are doing to protect us.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Definitely. So I'll tell you a couple more things. We've got the board meeting going on tonight, school board meeting. That'll be interesting to hear what happens and so forth. Because the last board meeting, we postponed our vote about the school start. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll get some more direction on that. And then I'll tell you, one of our friends will come visit us on Thursday. We've seen her briefly just now and then. Mrs. Wood has been on just to drop in. She said hello and happy birthday. She's been here a couple times just to talk about school spirit. But we're going to find out a little bit more on Thursday about what the LCAP is. You know, you talk about all these different acronyms and so forth. You'll find out what the local control and accountability program is all about and how that's changed this year for 2020, and how she just started that spot. And you know the person that had that spot before, Mrs. Sperber. So
Carrie.
Yeah, so Thursday we'll get to talk with Mrs. Wood, as we call her, the DSUSD Spirit Gal. We'll talk to her. Yeah. But Mary, I'm going to close this out here, and I'll catch up with you in a second here. Okay.
Okay. Bye. You have a great day.
Yeah. You too, Mary.
Bye.
So there we have Classroom Conversations, episode 25, with emphasis on digital citizenship and everything going on with our community, with our social media and so forth. But as I shared, we'll be back here with Classroom Conversations on Thursday at 9 a.m., where we're going to be talking about the LCAP and everything else going on current in Desert Sands. You guys have a great day. Make sure to wash your hands, wear a mask, and be safe.